Hello, 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 everybody. How you guys doing today on this Monday afternoon, May 9th? I want to say hello. Hope everybody's blessed. Just want to talk to everybody. Everybody's hearing about this Kevin Samuels, that just passed away. And shocking to me, you know what I mean? He just passed. They're saying he had a heart attack. Um, and stuff like that. And then I believe he was like 57 because you know what I mean. So I'm gonna actually play something real quick. Just let you guys. This is what the man looked like. If you don't know.
Earlier that Kevin Samuels unfortunately has passed away, and he had a cardiac arrest, and he was taken to the hospital on DOA. Now the Neighborhood Talk, which is a popular urban blog, they're posting reports have been swirling on social media surrounding Kevin Samuels. I spoke with the officer who shall remain anonymous, and he has confirmed. And Unwind with Tasha K, she says a man by the name of Kevin Samuels was brought into Grady this morning. He was labeled expired upon arrival. If this is him, may he rest in peace, waiting on family to confirm. So now, one of Kevin Samuels' best friends has said, Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, my friend. You accomplished a lot in your limited time on earth. I loved you while you were here. So yeah, a lot of people like Jessica X, who's a Prime supporter, has confirmed as well. So yeah, we're gonna send our condolences to Kevin Samuels. A lot of people were bashing me for posting it earlier, but it was true. So you guys, I don't know what you want me to do. You would rather TMZ or anyone else report on something like this, but this is my job, so I'm going to report on it. But yeah, what do you guys think about Kevin Samuels being confirmed deceased? We're still waiting on TMZ and the bigger bloggers to post about it. But for now, we're just going to have to accept this. It's really sad, though. A lot of people are laughing and rejoicing, which is not, it's not funny or anything. It's just that it's kind of ironic that it's just an ironic situation for a lot of Black women. But yeah, drop your comments below and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more videos from Empress Radio. Okay, bye.
So this is what the man looked like. And I'm gonna see this. Show you guys something else. Okay.
And good evening and welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Controversial YouTube star Kevin Samuels has died from an apparent heart attack, according to a friend we talked to tonight. We broke the news to you here on The Factor last night. Samuels is best known for dishing out some very controversial relationship advice, but coming down extremely hard, some say on Black women specifically. Take a listen.
Your running back size. Okay. You can hit the A gap like a.
Yeah, all right.
So don't come in here and talk about what men should not be able to do when they got to accept somebody who can run out the power I. How tall are you?
5'4".
Dress size?
6.
That's your picture?
That is my picture.
How recent is it?
That's a 10-year-old picture. But I still
beautiful women don't have 10-year-old pictures, man.
Now, tonight, a Houston attorney and mentee and good friend of Samuels is on the factor. That attorney, as of this evening, has been appointed the family spokesperson. But we talked to him before that development. Dennis Sperling talks about Samuels' impact nationwide.
I got to know Kevin because I have a podcast, Dennis Sperling, on YouTube, and having become very, effective at what I do. He popped up on a mutual friend's podcast, and we began to talk. He then invited me to his Facebook room, where it's called The Mix, and it's where you get couples together, and and that's actually how I met my fiance, ironically, but that's how I met him, and he and I just kept in contact over the past 2.5 years, and we'd start working together. But his main thing was getting couples together, getting people married again, telling women, hey, you know what? The society that we live in has caused you ladies to become narcissists and to overvalue yourselves. You got 3 kids by 3 different men. You're 150 pounds overweight. You're not going to marry a millionaire. You should talk to that plumber or that electrician or that hardworking guy who you can build a life with. Because as it is right now, here in America, we teach the men that they should undervalue themselves, and we teach the women that they should overvalue themselves. And that was his basic message.
For some, he was brutally honest. For others, he was brutally cruel. Where would you stand in describing your friend? And I'd say that because you actually had a relationship with him. You knew him, and it led to your fiance. So how would you describe what your friend did?
Well, for those people who think he was cruel, people who've been lied to their whole lives, they see the truth as cruelty. Kevin Samuels was accurate. He backed his statements up with facts from the CDC reports. In the Black community alone, 80% of the women have children out of wedlock. And that's being sired by 20% of the men. 51% of Black men don't have children. 31% of Black men are married and live with their wives. So that means there's about 18% of men, give or take, who's siring children with these women. And so he pointed that out. He said that's why Black men aren't getting married. But see, the thing about Kevin Samuels that you all don't know is that his vision, his legacy was going to expand past YouTube. He had visions of starting a mega sort of entertainment advertising where we would talk about men's clothing, fitness, suits, cologne, those colognes and things that he would advertise. Mm-hmm. He was doing that because he was getting paid for it. He was a brilliant businessman. And the fact that he was willing to speak the truth to people and was accurate about it, all that did was endear him to the rest of us who recognized the truth he was speaking. So for those people who are his detractors, listen to the man's podcast and you'll see he was speaking the truth. It's the reality that we live in now.
No, one of the things you said was he was talking about getting yourself together, staying in shape. And that's one of the things he did. And that's why this is so shocking to so many people. Cardiac arrest, heart attack, and people are trying to wrap their heads around that. This is a man who taught many people how to live better, how to eat better. And so it's kind of like, how did this happen to him?
This revolutionary new device can remove up to 10 times more earwax than a traditional cotton swab.
Well, unfortunately, he basically was a one-man show. Every night for the past 7 years. Most of you all didn't know him until about 2.5 years ago. But for the first 5 years, he spoke to men. He said, you need to get yourself together. You're 5'5", 280 pounds. And you only make $30,000 a year, yet you want this supermodel to be your woman. That's not going to happen. And he was cruel. You want to see cruelty? Look at how he talked to some of those guys. I mean, my God, he would have you leaving that podcast, like 2 feet shorter than when you walked in. But, you know,
Equally honest to both sexes.
equally honest, but it really picked up because no one has been brave enough to speak to women in an honest way, to tell them, hey, you know what, you need to come down off of that ledge that you're on. You're going to die alone. You're going to get a dog. You're going to be a cat lady. You think you're better than your husband, and you can do better. So you're willing to file this divorce to get back out there on that market. And what you're going to get is a rude awakening. But as far as his health, I mean, Kevin says this, and I don't want to speak too much beyond what the family would want to be said, but Kevin fought and conquered cancer at a very young age. And so, you know, I can only imagine what that did to his body. But, you know, just hanging out with him, he didn't overeat, he didn't undereat, but I know that the stress of putting on those shows, and you yourself know what it's like, man. And me, I've had the experience now being on my podcast. You have to interact with the public. You're constantly on edge. The only time I've ever seen him truly relax is down in Miami for his birthday. And everybody knows he says I don't drink, but I'm known for purchasing a few bottles here and there. and you hung out with me before too. And so, you know, after a couple of bottles, man, he was dancing and really just enjoying his birthday. And to me, I look at that like that was his going away party, as far as I'm concerned. Just seeing him smile and happy and relaxing amongst friends. And my fiance was there, another young lady named Melanie King, who's a very popular YouTuber. We were all there just hanging out in Miami, and it was really impromptu because he didn't tell anybody it was his birthday. We were just down there to meet, and he was like, "Yeah, it's my birthday." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "It's time to turn up, man."
There you go. So as we wrap up, Dennis, what did he mean to you?
Well, man, we haven't had a voice of truth here in the United States in many years. Our preachers stopped speaking the truth. Our screenwriters and actors stopped speaking the truth to us. Our politicians stopped speaking the truth. We have a lot of panderers out there. And what Americans need, what the world needs, is truth speakers. Because here's the thing, a lot of us have been misled. You know, he was clearly a mentor to some. He was a father to others. They referred to him as the Godfather. He was that middle-aged 50-year-old man that many of these young folks didn't have, who would be honest with them. You know, he wasn't a man who was afraid to speak the truth. A well-studied, brilliant black man. The way he dressed, the way he carried himself with dignity. What you weren't going to do is cut him off on his podcast and interrupt him and treat him like he was a child. He commanded respect. But then when you would meet him in public, man, he didn't hide. He spoke to the people. He was more gracious than any of the actors or entertainers I've ever seen. They could learn a lesson from him. He never had security around him, no bodyguards. We're in Miami, dudes are running up on him. One guy, most people had positive things to say. Somebody else was like, "You got to get yours." He just graciously smiled at him and kept it moving. In New York, as crowded and rowdy as New York can be, no bodyguards. I mean, he was a man of the people, and if you ever really had a chance to be around him and sit and listen to him, you'd see how brilliant he was. But to me, he was a mentor. He was, and at my age, you know, it's like, I'm too old for mentors. but he was truly a mentor, a big brother, and I appreciate his legacy, and I hope that those men who are in the manosphere, which he has taken mainstream now, like the things we talk about that used to be part of the dark corners of the internet that everybody thought was crazy. They called them incels and beasts. Now it's major talking points. You have Hollywood being affected by it. So he meant a lot to him. He was and I describe it like this, he was the aircraft carrier that was out front leading and surrounded by a battalion of ships of truth speakers. And so that's what he meant to me. He was a forerunner he was a harbinger to what I think America needs to get back to our traditional values: family, raising children, being good citizens, being good Christians, because he taught Bible study, if you didn't know. And I think, and I appreciate him, and that's what he meant to me, brother.
All right, Attorney Dennis Sperling, we appreciate you sharing this information about your friend, Kevin Samuels. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored tonight.
Thank you.
Mm, 1965 to 2002. That's what they said he, So like I said, for anybody that wanted to celebrate his death in a negative light, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So again, when you hear about people saying that, yeah, I'm glad he's no longer here or whatever the case is, if that's the case, that's crazy. So I'm gonna just say something really quick, and then I'm gonna. Unfortunately, this video is a little longer than it should be, but I don't want it to be too long. I don't want it to be too long, but it's just basically this is just about rest in power to Kevin Samuels, and obviously, like I said, he had his own way of speaking to women about things, and it's like some people might not agree with it, and that's fine, you know what I mean? But you should never, if somebody has an opinion or strong opinion, you should never try to wish death upon him because he had a, you know what I mean, or say, oh, he's gonna get his or something. I'm gonna just show this.
Hard to deal with.
So this is Fair Use YouTube, all right?
I talk to women every day.
Fair Use.
And when I talk to professional women over 35, you get a laundry list of requirements. And it's like, I've actually taken to the point to where I record some women and I play it back in the session. I'm like, listen to how you sound. They're like, oh, I didn't know I sounded like that. I'm like, that's how you go into the dating market with your fists up, ready to tell a man he ain't crap. So if that's the case, ladies, what are you expecting from me? So I'm going to go over to Facebook and I'm going to read some of these comments. And we're going to open it up. I'm going to bring in some people from, I'm going to bring in some folks from Instagram to talk. And then I'm going to also bring in some folks from Facebook. Why am I bringing in people from Facebook? Because whether you guys like it or not, Generation X women are part of the conversation too. Generation X women are part of the conversation too. And it is my personal opinion that a lot of Generation X women are messing up the conversation because they come to it in such a hostile way. And the thing is, ladies, we don't care. If you're over 35 in particular, if you're over 40, it don't matter why. Well, the reason I am so and so and so and so, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me why you're that way. All that matters to me is that's what it is. That's what it matters to me. It's like, well, damn. Well, like y'all gotta understand where we come from. No, we don't. Men don't have to understand where you come from. Men don't have to understand any of that stuff. Men are trying to get what they want out of life. And it's high time for women to start understanding that that's what it's going to be. And if you want to deal with a man, you're going to have to become easier. Easier. Not harder, easier. And the women who are hard to deal with will remain alone. Here's the question I ask. Gentlemen, please don't comment or respond. Speak your mind without insult. From your position, what do you believe I get wrong? This is actually a good faith question. I ask, what do you think I get wrong? Or believe I get wrong? And more than anything else, the response was, who are you to say what you say? How dare you? All right, here's what I'm going to ask. There are over 2,100 comments.
So I'm not going to get into all that and play because, again, I don't want YouTube banning me, because you never know, because I don't have permission probably from his team to probably play all his videos because, YouTube's a very sensitive, platform when it comes to certain, streaming other people's videos and stuff like that. But, like I said, he was a smart man. I got on the scene of watching him maybe a year and a half ago. You know, and he speaks a lot of sense. When it comes to relationships, and it's like a lot of times people, I'm gonna say this. Sometimes I'm gonna say this. He sounded arrogant at times, and he did overtalk some of his guests. I understand it's his platform. Some people, I've written comments on his videos about that. Like, a few times I feel like he's overtalked his guests, and people could have their own opinion about it. But he seemed like a smart dude, though. He seemed like he was really trying to get black love, to come back together. You know what I mean? Not saying it's never had been, or people don't, date black women if you're a black man or whatever, but, it's just about behaviors and about, how you was raised. And this is what he was trying to talk about, and holding women accountable just as well as he was holding some men accountable just as well. So, because at first, when he first started doing this, he was doing it for going on and at the men, and all the women were happy. Like, oh, good, we got a man that's going at a man and telling, he's fat, he's this, he's not doing, what is his part. So women were celebrating that. But then when it was like on the women's tip, even though he got bigger on that, some women didn't like that. They didn't like the fact that, accountability is, not being honored the same way. So this is all he was saying. And I've said this in my videos, and I've, said this talking about, relationships just as well on my YouTube channel. And I've also said, like, look, we also have to, as black people, have to get this out of our minds that we are not stupid people, but we need to understand each other and love each other and stop fighting amongst each other over dumb shit. Because, again, no other race is doing this as much as we are. You know what I'm saying? And this man was trying to get black people to come together and then understand who they are in this world. And, I think he made an impact because he had like over 1 million plus followers. Regardless of arrogant, he was this, people called him gay, because people said, oh, but you was married twice and, you have a daughter, you know what I mean, whatever. That's, whatever. But, if there's no proof of that, he was gay or, whatever the case is, because I don't believe he was. But it's just like for people to try to celebrate, yeah, I'm glad he's dead, I'm glad he had a heart attack or whatever. If people are doing that on the internet, it's like you're sick. You know what I mean? I would never wish anybody, that passes, anybody, like, you know what I mean? Whether I never knew him or I don't know him, that's fine. But at the end of the day, people gotta think. That's all he was trying to do. You know what I mean? Just like I'm trying to tell black people over the internet, if my message comes across and I'm just a little small YouTuber, hey, let's act better. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the white boys acting, crazy to each other all the time. You know what I mean? They love each other. Why? Because culture. And it's like when I talk to this or say certain things to white people or whatever, and they might get mad at me and say, oh, why are you always bringing up white stuff and this and that? It's like, because a lot of white people don't want to be held accountable, just as well as a lot of women and men don't want to be held accountable in life, and they should be for our mistakes. But we know what I mean. So this is why I say it's like, stop it. You know what I mean? But in today's era, you can't say nothing to a woman. You can't say nothing, because you're going to be the problem. So this is basically what he was trying to say. People aren't being held accountable. There's no structure anymore. There's no guidance. It's, everybody wants to have just whatever, you know what I mean? Like just, oh yeah, let me just do what I want to do and have fun and, hot girl summer and all this other and hot boy summer. And it's like, we need to get back to the love, but we don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And it's in our community, but I see every other white groups, white, Asian, Latinos marrying each other. You know what I mean? And us, like myself, we've dated white women or living with white women or whatever. And it's like, whatever happened to this black love? That doesn't happen as much as it used to be. And that's what this man was trying to do. He was trying to, and he talked about, stats and data, statistics, what I'm saying, off of like the black demographics, stats and stuff like that. But, and some women would still debate with him about stats, what I mean, data and all this other stuff, which is like, okay, he's telling you facts and data and you want to debate with this man. Okay, that makes sense. You know what I mean? If it's demographics about us as black people, that doesn't, So again, I'm not going to say how he always came across was the best, but I just say this and get off. It's just if you come at him at a certain way, as he probably did, he'd come at you a certain way. You know what I mean? And it seems like it, but again, he carried himself, what I'm saying, and like a man, the way he wanted to carry himself, and that's it. So, we're gonna say rest in peace to this brother, because I don't like to see anybody pass away, but you know what I mean. But especially for black people like myself that look like the way we look, I don't like to see that. You know what I mean. But say rest in power to Mr. Kevin Samuels, and I hope whatever impact you've made on people, I hope they think about their behavior and decisions. You know what I mean. And I think you made a lot of eyes open in the black community on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of people in the times you've been doing this, how long you was doing this for before your passing, I think, hey, hello, Gems. You know what I'm saying? So I think people in general, are waking up. You know what I'm saying? Slowly. And I want the black community to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Again, I like all people. You know what I'm saying? And hello, how you doing, Gems? But it's like I want all black people to wake up and understand that we could be friends with all type of people, but we have to understand ourselves first. You know what I mean? Attacking each other, calling each other niggas, and disrespecting each other—that's not cool. You know what I mean? We've been doing that shit for so fucking long, bro. Hurting each other, disrespecting each other, women hating each other. I got a baby mommy and her don't get along. We can't even be in the same damn room together. It's shitty. Like that's not good for your kids. It's not good for you health wise. You know what I mean? So that's why I tell people, man, like we got to get back to the love of understanding each other as black people, because this going back and forth. We've been doing that shit for years. Our mentality since slavery's been fucked up, and it's like we need to understand that, bro. Like, you know what I mean? We're not here to try to beat up other black people. That's why I try to say hello to other black people, whether it's black women or black men. And if you want to give me an attitude, then hey, that's something that's wrong with you, because I don't know you. I'm just trying to say hello to you because you look like me, because your skin is dark like mine. That's it. You know what I mean? And I could disagree with black folks, and we could have our disagreements, but I don't have to fight you. I don't have to be, fighting you. And I had to realize that in my years having a son with autism, and my son's going to be 18 in June. It's like all those years of arguing with, fighting with her, and we don't even barely talk. And that sucks. But everybody, feel free to check out my YouTube channel. Type in my name. It's Russell Mills, RUSSELLMILLS, May 22nd, 2017. My first video is called Why Black People Settle for Less. So everybody take care. God bless. Try to get the views up. And Gems, if you want to tell people about my my YouTube channel, spread the love wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get more views for because I want more likes and more up. So everybody be safe. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.